You wake up hanging upside down in the dark, in the middle of something you built out of your own body. You can barely see. 8 eyes, and almost all of them are close to useless. But it doesn't matter, because the moment anything touches the threads stretched around you, you'll know exactly what it is, where it is, and whether it's a meal, a mate, or the last mistake you'll ever make. You didn't build a trap and then sit down next to it. You built a body far larger than yourself, and you feel the whole room through it. Hold on to that, because by the end, some scientists will argue that the thing you built isn't just a net. It might be part of your mind. You are the spider. Let's start with the fact that you're basically blind. You have 8 eyes, set in little rows across your face, and for an orb weaver like you, they're almost an afterthought. Good for telling light from shadow and not much else. You will never really see the fly you're about to kill. And you don't need to, because your true sense organ isn't on your body at all. It's the web. You rest the tips of your legs, each one ending in a tiny claw, lightly on the silk. And from there, you feel everything, and you spun that web out of yourself. Inside your abdomen are glands, as many as 7 different kinds, each producing a different silk for a different job. There's a strong drag line you trail behind you like a safety rope and use for the spokes. There's a stretchy, sticky spiral to snag whatever flies in. There's a soft silk for wrapping prey and another for cradling eggs. You extrude it as a liquid that hardens into thread in the open air, and line by line you build a sensory organ larger than your whole body. And then you hang yourself in the very middle of it. Now you wait. And when something finally hits the web, the entire structure comes alive with information. A struggling fly sends one pattern racing down the threads, fast, frantic, high. A leaf drifting in lands as a dull, dead thud. A raindrop is a single sharp tap. The wind is a slow, steady sway. And a male of your own kind, desperately hoping not to be eaten, plucks the threads in a careful rhythm to announce himself. You read all of it, the frequency, the strength, the rhythm, and which strand it traveled down. And from that alone, without a single glance, you know what's out there, how big it is, and exactly which direction to run. Some spiders can even tell one kind of insect from another purely by the way it shakes the silk. And you're not only reading the web, you're tuning it. You set the tension in every thread as you build, the way a musician tunes a string so the vibrations carry exactly the way you want them to. You can pluck the lines yourself to test them, and if a predator wanders too close, some of your kind do something remarkable. They loosen the web and go completely still, deliberately muting their own senses so that nothing gives their position away. You can turn your entire nervous system down to a whisper. And the thread you're standing on is one of the strangest materials in the natural world. For its weight, it is stronger than steel, and far, far tougher. It stretches to a quarter of its length and springs back, soaking up the shock of a flying insect that would snap a stiffer fiber clean in half. Pound for pound, it absorbs more energy before breaking than almost anything humans have ever engineered. You are producing, from inside your own body, a material our best laboratories still cannot fully copy. And you're using it to hang from a ceiling. Then it happens. A fly hits, and the web screams it straight to you. You don't hesitate. You already know the exact radius to sprint down. You bite, and you wrap it in soft silk in seconds, spinning it between your legs like a parcel. But here's where it turns strange, because you can't chew your food the way a person would. So you don't. Instead, you flood the prey with digestive juices from the inside, dissolving its organs into a warm soup while it's still wrapped. And then you drink it. You liquefy your meal and sip it back out through the hole you made. By the time you're finished, all that's left hanging in the web is a hollow, empty shell. And that beautiful web will not last. The sticky threads dry out, the whole thing collects dust and damage, and within a day it stops working as a sensor. So many orb weavers do something that sounds impossible. At the end of the day, you eat it. You tear down your own web and swallow the silk, recycling the protein straight back into your body, and then you spin a brand new one, often before morning. You eat your house every night and rebuild it by dawn, out of the very same material. There may be even more to it than touch. Recent research found that a spider's web can move in response to sound, the whole sheet of silk trembling like an enormous external eardrum. far larger than any ear could ever be, which raises a genuinely eerie possibility that you may be listening to the room not with your body, but with a net stretched across it, hearing footsteps and wing beats through a membrane you spun yourself. And that brings us back to what I told you to hold on to. You have offloaded so much onto this web, your sense of touch, your hunting, your judgment of what is food and what is a threat, perhaps even your hearing, that some scientists have started asking a strange question. Where does your mind actually stop? They argue the web isn't only a tool you use, it may be part of your thinking itself, cognition happening outside your skull, out in the silk. When you tighten a single thread, you may not just be repairing a trap, you may be adjusting how you process the entire world, editing your own mind with your legs. It is still debated. But if it's true, then you are a creature whose thoughts reach out several times beyond its body, strung quietly across a doorway. And then it's over. You are human again. Tomorrow you'll walk through a doorway, feel a thread catch across your face, and wave it away without a second thought. But now you know what you just tore. Not a trap. A body, spun out of a living thing overnight. A net of touch and maybe of hearing. Tuned like an instrument, strong enough to shame steel, and quite possibly a piece of a mind, thinking quietly in the corner of your ceiling. Ordinary is only ever what that web looks like, to the one of us who can't feel a single thing through it.